Arsenal 2, Crystal Palace 2. Patrick Vieira's return as a manager to the Emirates ended with him 95th minute on his knees, head in his hands, fuming that they couldn't hang on for that final few seconds to get the victory in his first return as manager. Shambolic performances all over the park. Fans all over the world are cheering a draw. 5 games unbeaten. We're going to get into player ratings in a minute. Jez, give me your little 2-minute breakdown for anyone who hasn't watched your fan cam, and if they haven't, go back and watch it.
Shocking, rubbish. Arsenal delusion by Arsenal fans. Arteta, absolute waste of space. This guy's taken us absolutely nowhere, and I cannot believe how nobody's seen it. We've had him, it's been going on now 2 years. What does it take for somebody in senior management to see this guy is not the greatest young manager in world fucking football? He's useless. We are playing with an absolute discord of football. It proved it throughout that game, 1-0 up, and then we end up defending a 1-0 advantage. Where is that about Arsenal? Yeah, I know in George Graham's days it was 1-0 to the Arsenal. It was a different game back then. So I'm sorry, this is Crystal Palace. We used to wipe their arse, and by half time, and then sort of go in at half time, have a cup of tea, and come out and kick them up the arse again. Fuck off, Arteta and Edu and all the rest of you people, because you are just taking this team into the gutter. And I tell you what, all you fucking top supposed gooners who know absolute fuck all about this football club, with your stupid little plastic FCAs who are fueling this fan base, fuck off.
Well said, Jez. Well said. Well said, mate. And I totally agree. I can't disagree. Listen, you've supported Arsenal since before I was born, mate. Yeah, and you've seen a hell of a lot worse times than I've seen.
One of the worst. Yeah. This is one of the worst.
You say it all the time. This is one of the worst. Kenny, you was at the game. You're back home from the game. You stayed for the Arteta press conference afterwards, or the interview afterwards, until you were turfed out. It takes a big man to turf you out, Kenny.
Actually, he's a good mate of mine, Billy. We call him Billy Blue. But one thing I would say is that I second everything Jez was said. I think what's happening is that these people, they call us toxic because we say as it is. But these people, they're a stain on our fan base. And the thing is they actually infect our fan base with their ingenuine positivity, with a smile, which is worse. They do it with a smile. They pride themselves so much on being level-headed, looking them in the nose and people, all 3 of us, yet they couldn't tell the truth of it if their life depended on it. Right now, what we saw was Martinelli being brought on to play like Jason Wilcox. Right? What's the point of bringing the guy on? You bring him on at left wing, and I use the term loosely, and then what's happened is that you leave us with a 3-on-1 person in midfield. So Crystal Palace wanted to go for the juggler. They could have played us could have got a couple more goals because of Arteta's tactics. Ben White, I know why you celebrated, mate, with such vigour, considering that you bottled it and you couldn't even put a challenge in for their seconds. And as for Partey, he's going to get the plaudits. But once again, if you've got forward players standing like statues and not moving, and he's trying to see what's around me, and he's getting a hospital pass from Tommy Acid, because I know he's going to get a buy. What do you expect? Both the goals was because of Arteta's tactics. If you put Mendy on a ball and you're passive at home, all the team has to do is just raise their standards by a couple of yards. And we're vulnerable. It's simple.
Yeah, 100%. Just before we get into player ratings, I see a tweet, and I haven't checked out the authenticity of the statistic that I have seen, but apparently under this manager, we have got a 33% win record.
Oh, that's not a rumor. That's probably factual.
Mm.
The biggest rumor is that he's a good coach. That's a rumor that he's a top coach.
Mm. Let me ask you both very quickly before we get into player ratings, right? And Jez, you said that I think it was Jeff Shreve said kind of gave him his get out of jail card with saying, "Oh, he's got a young team. Oh, you've got a young team, right?" What has it got to take, in your opinion, for this manager to be like job on the line, like potentially getting sacked? Because we're currently 12th. When we were losing until the 95th minute, we were 14th. We've gone up to 12th with a draw, and we've got Villa who are 13th on Friday. And this manager's lost 3 times in a row to Dean Smith. Right? In your opinion, what does it have to take for this manager's job to be under pressure?
For him to go, in all seriousness, I think that's a very good question, Lee. Because the only thing I can see to get this idiot out of this football club is we are going to have to lose 4 games on the spin. Because we win one, we drew today, it gives him a bit of breathing time. He's living off the Tottenham win.
Mm.
We struggled against a 0-0 against Brighton. We've struggled lucky today against Palace. If we lose against Villa, which I won't be surprised. If we lose, we'll forget the Leeds game because that's cup. If we lose Leicester and lose the game after that, he has got to go.
Kenny, same question, man. What do you think?
Well, I saw speaking to league judges 2 weeks ago, and I stand by what I said. Arsenal Football Club, if they the only 2 managers in the last 30 years who haven't lasted the course are managers who I don't think the club really wanted. They didn't want Bruce Rioch because they were trying to get Wenger the year before, so he was dispensable despite the fact he finished 5th. Unai Emery, ironically, finished 5th in his first full season and was jettisoned because the club wanted to get Arteta. I don't think we can underestimate how much research was done into getting Arteta into his club, and that the club bottled appointing him so soon after Wenger because of the inexperience, but went back to their original hunch that he was a top coach. And as Jez will tell you, Arsenal Football Club and Arsenal fans in general are the biggest enablers because they do give managers time. Billy Wright in the 60s got more time than he deserved. Bertie Mee got too much time because of 71. George Graham got a lot of time because he won things. Probably went stale after 94, but it was a bung that got him out. Don Howe was only sacked because we were trying to get Terry Venables behind his back in 86. But he would have got more time if he didn't resign. So Arsenal Football Club give managers time. So, you know, it will have to be a massive protest for this man to go, because that's what happened with Terry Neal in 1983 when he should have gone after the 82-83 season. It's the fans who are going to be key to getting this man out, not results.
Yeah, and there was a lot of empty seats tonight, but listen, we could talk about that. We'll do that on the podcast anyway. But Jez, let me start with you. Aaron Ramsdale, again, the only player of the starting 11 that looked like he actually wanted to be there. The only one that looked like he was up for the fight. Yes, he had a lot of shots straight down his throat. Yeah, he tipped a few over the bar. Couldn't do anything with either goal, in my opinion. The finish from Benteke was top class. Yeah, but it's so tight to that post. It was mad. The second goal, the power was just a joke. And he was shouting, he was organising, he was going mad. And listen, none of us 3 wanted him. Yeah, he has been our best player since he signed. Yeah, I don't think any of us can debate that. He has actually been our best player. And the fact that, again, for me, and I'm going to get your rating on it, but again, for me, the fact that a defensive player or goalkeeper is man of the match, yeah, or up there for man of the match, yeah, kind of sums up Arteta ball. But give me your rating, give me your thoughts on him.
Yeah, man of the match for me, in my personal opinion. I'm going to give the guy an 8, purely for his attitude, the fact that he was giving his defence absolute bollockings. when they were cocking up, and it was, I mean, the fact that he had to give Tierney severe bollockings just shows how far that player has regressed. Ben White, you know, we spunk 50 million on that bloke. He's just garbage. He's a, you know, Bright Mustafi, man. Yes, so Ramsdale for me, 8 out of 10. He kept us in the game, in my opinion, and was the only decent player on the pitch.
I can't disagree at the starting 11, to be fair. Kenny, let me come to you on Tierney, because I agree with what Jez just said. And I had a Celtic fan in my watch-along tonight who said, this is not Kieran Tierney. Yeah, this guy has gone so backwards, it is mad. And he actually has. And let's be real, he stayed pretty fit recently. Yeah, like, yes, he's gone down a couple of times, but he's been bouncing back and coming back next game. He can't cross a ball anymore. And that was one of his best traits. Drop his shoulder, quick burst over 5 yards, pull it on a sixpence, yeah? And the strikers were missing last season. This season, he don't look like he's got that burst of pace. His position is just a joke. Yeah, he's out of position and he can't cross a ball. What did you make of him tonight?
Well, if you look at Kieran Tierney's relapsed. I think it's gone beyond the fact that he's had a long season with in terms of playing the Euros for his national side. I think it's his form, and I think what's happened is that it's just cast a spell. I look at Kieran Tierney and I compare it to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka at Crystal Palace was worth his weight of gold. Since he's gone under the sort of coaching and stewardship of Solskjaer, he's just gone backwards. And I think it's the same with Kieran under this manager. I mean, if there's one of Arteta's deadly sins, and there's many deadly sins, I think we've gone past 7 of his deadly sins really since he's been in charge. But one of his most prominent deadly sins is that he's presided over a loss of form over quite a lot of individuals. Every player who's had any semblance of promise have digressed under this manager. He is a talent killer. I think he confuses his players, and Kieran's no different than that. Kieran doesn't know. Kieran's always seems to be left one-on-ones nowadays, and he can't cope. And in terms of his crossing, Kieran will get the blame, and he deserves the blame because he has to be responsible for his own performances. But having this man as a manager, he needs a breath of fresh air, mate. He needs either to leave the club or get a manager who can get the best out of him. And seeing that I'm a big Kieran Tierney fan, he's going nowhere. But I'm sorry, I can't give him more than a 3. I can't. It's like your favourite. It's like your favourite student who you know is A+, but that you have to give them
They
D-.
dropped the sinker, yeah. We're going to come to Saka in a minute, yeah, obviously, but I don't think he was helped. We'll come to that later. Jez, let's go to the opposite side. Tomiyasu, player of the month for the last month, September, dropped an absolute shocker against Cucurella for Brighton. He was there. You witnessed it live. And tonight, he's kind of lucky that it was Edouard instead of Zaha, because he was positionally shocking tonight. Out of position, left, right, and centre. Yeah, just hospital ball to party. What did you make of him?
When that guy first came in, I was quite impressed with him, to be fair. Last 2 games, poor. I'm gonna give him a 4, just for the pure fact that he got his shirt on the right way round tonight. Because when he first was playing, he was overlapping down that right wing. I've not seen that in the last 2 games. So is that Arteta saying don't do it? I don't know. But he's not helping that right winger at all. So, Pepe likes to have service down that right wing. And I didn't see that tonight. So, yeah, it's a 4.
Yeah, we're going to come to Pepe in a minute, but I agree, man. Pepe is unorthodox. I don't think his best position is right. But when he plays right, you have to overlap him so he can drop his shoulder and come in. We see it with the first goal. Kenny, let me give you Ben White. Ben White.
You know what? you know what? I've defended this guy because I know there's a player there, but I can't defend. I can't defend a player that basically allows a striker to pick his spot like that for the second goal. You can't defend that. You can't defend that. You know, you've got nothing to lose. When he's in the box, just attack the ball. Attack the ball. You know, and if he goes past you, then so be it. But to just basically stand off him and just let him pick his spot, and to the extent you're giving your goalkeeper no chance, it's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. You actually, first half, I was actually quite pleased with you because you were making a lot of interceptions. But second half, I can't forgive you. And the way he celebrated his goal with a lot of vigour, you're damn right you did, mate, because you could have cost us the match. Four, mate. You know, as you've not done that rank stupidity and idiocy, you could have got a higher mark. But for that, unforgivable. You notice, attack the ball, especially when it's in your area. He's in your box. That is your area. Normally, you say to defenders, if the ball's in the air, attack the ball. But if it's in a situation where you're on a half line and you can get spun, then stand off it. But just stand off in your own area.
You drop off a yard.
But in your own area, unforgivable relapse. 4.
Yeah. Jez, Gabriel didn't cover himself in glory either tonight. The whole of that back four looks shady tonight, if I'm being honest. And Gabriel has been one of our better players. But tonight, I thought he just looked iffy. And listen, Benteke, first goal in 7 games, I think it is. And I said it in my preview. I said, Benteke will break his duck. He always does. 3 clubs he's done that for at the Emirates now. Liverpool, Villa, and Palace. He done it last year or year before with Palace. But do you think he was better than Ben White? Or do you think it was him not being so great that made Ben White not be so great? Because he's had he's had Gabriel helping him out and covering his mistakes. Tonight, I didn't see that.
I thought he looked nervy, to be honest. Uncertain. I just didn't see a partnership there tonight. I didn't see a lot of communication. You think back when you've got 2 defenders in that position, there should be big communication. We've seen it, with other great defenders back in the day. And I didn't see that. So I don't think Ben White helped him, but he didn't help Ben White. So I'm going to give him a 4. I like the guy. I do rate him, but to me, just looked nervous. I don't know why. So yes, 4.
Kenny, let's go to Martin Oligard.
Pathetic, weak, irresponsible, lazy. He was basically the first few minutes in North London Derby when he got beaten up by Ndombele. You know what? He is what he is on the tin. He thinks he's a big fish in a small pond at Arsenal, but really and truly, when teams up the tempo, then he's part of the problem. He really is a part of the problem. I don't blame him entirely because the expectations on him to be our sole create a problem. But then again, him and Smith Rowe playing the same side and Saka, they're part of the problem. You know what I mean? But the way he went down when Crystal Palace had that chance, just on half time, and he was holding his face, and I thought, you know what, this is a man's game, mate, and you're not up to it, mate. You're a child, and losing the ball, getting intercepted. It was a relief for everyone in the ground when he was taken off. I can only give him a 2. That was just poor.
Generous.
Poor.
Yes. Let's go to Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey. Oh God, this guy frustrates me so much. What did he do tonight? Not a lot, and there's something in that guy that I really, really like, but his passing ability at the moment and his ability to hang on to the ball is awful. It is awful, and I really want to see this guy step up. I really, really do. And I'm not seeing it right now. And again, I believe this is down to Arteta again. People are going to say, "Oh, you're harping on about Arteta." Well, yes, it is Arteta. The guy's clueless and he's dragging players down. And I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to give him a 5.
Oh, that is generous. At least he had his shots on target tonight, or close to on target. They weren't whistling out the stadium. Yeah, he's getting better with his shooting. Yeah, but yeah, that's generous. But it's your player ratings, not mine. Let's go to Bukayo Saka, Kenny.
You know what? Bukayo Saka is doing a good job of making us think that he's no longer Bukayo Saka of Arsenal, but Bukayo Saka of England, because he seems to produce better performances for the national side than he does for the club, and it's actually the club that's gone into it. Apart from the Spurs game, it's just a disappointment. He's an absolute disappointment. But one thing I will give him is that Crystal Palace, pigeon, basically targeted him for some very harsh treatment, and obviously, some referees probably would have sent off MacArthur. Other referees may have used what they consider to be common sense, but that's no getting away from the fact that he was poor. Something is not right. Something is not right, because what's happening now is that he seems to be playing all these attacking players in the same team, yet there doesn't seem to be a role for him. They don't know what to do. They don't know what's going on.
Well, tonight he was on the left, and he does his best work on the right.
Yeah,
Pepe does his best work on the left, and he was on the right.
When he was Mr. Assist, when he started under Unai Emery and became Mr. Assist after Unai Emery was replaced by Arteta, he was playing on the right. He was playing left back, and then we pushed him slightly forward and then Xhaka was trying to cover for him, but he went on the right. He was thanks. He was one of the few successes last season on the right hand side. But again, it's Arteta. Arteta is a talent killer. When you play with a coach who's not as sure of what he wants, keeps on chopping and changing, and then you see your friends who are given a chance and one bad move, they're out the side. It doesn't display confidence. But you can't just use the manager. He's out of form, and I'm sorry. It's hard to see what he contributed, and I'm giving with a heavy heart. I can only give him a 2. I can't give any more than that.
Mate, listen.
And it's not personal because he's
Kenny. He's been
you have to say
poor.
it is.
He's been poor for Arsenal since the end of January. Yeah, and he ended up winning Player of the season, right? And I don't think he was Player of the season. I think Pepe overall was Player of the season, but I can accept that Saka was. Yeah, the reason I said Pepe is because he was in and out of the team constantly, played less time, like literally 50% time less than Saka, and had a better output and affected the games more. But Saka for England is like Paul Pogba for France. Yeah, and then when they play for their actual clubs, and it's like kind of tells you all you need to know. Yeah, and the one worry I have for Saka is he is a jack of all trades, i.e. he can play everywhere. Is he ever going to be allowed to master one of them?
Get a proper coaching.
Under this manager, no chance.
Get a proper coaching who can work with him.
He's quality, man. He's quality. But under this manager,
come on, Conte. Look what he did for Moses.
Victor Moses, yeah.
He made Victor Moses a top player, and Victor Moses is one of his mainstays when he won the league in 2017. There is ability in quite a lot of our players, but this coach, who's reached the end of the road. And the sad thing about it is this coach is going to be given money to replace these players, and he won't take responsibility for the fact that these players are underperforming under his stewardship.
100%. Jez, let's go to the opposite side. Nicola Pepe started the game brightly, had the shot that led to the Aubameyang goal, done a couple of nice little skill, flair, trickery and all that in our own corner flag. Looked lively, never had Tomiyasu overlap him, but just literally, it was like somebody unplugged him after about 30 minutes. Yeah, after that, shocking. Couldn't trap a cold. like literally bag of cement, whatever you want to call it. What did you make of him, man? I like Pepe, and I know you guys do as well, but
this guy frustrates me so much. He really does. There's again, it's like Partey. There's a player in there, but his ball skills, man, they're shocking. Shocking. He, for a player of his talent, he can't track a ball. And the amount of times he gets a ball come to him, and it bounces off his feet. Like it, you know, I said on to somebody else the other day, it's almost like two opposing magnets. His right foot is a north magnet, and the ball is a north magnet. They don't meet, and I just don't
it's like
get
he's
it.
running past the ball, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't get it. I just don't understand. You know, for a player of his standard and quality, he's really got to smarten up. I mean, we've seen glimpses of what he can do. You know, I mean that game against in the European Champions League when he scored them 2 free kicks. That guy has got some real talent. I just don't get it, and he disappoints me. He frustrates me, and I want to see what he has actually got. But I'm sorry, tonight, man, you're getting a 3.
Smith Rowe, Kenny.
He marked out for Crystal Palace for some special individual one-to-one tutorials, i.e. getting kicked all over the place by Crystal Palace. He struggled throughout the game, you know, especially the second half. You know, he got the shock of his life because he was on the ball a lot in the first half, and the second half when Crystal Palace took control and when they had a spare man, he was basically doing what Mikel Arteta loves his players to do, trying to, you know, win tackles, trying to protect the back four, and he failed miserably. You know, I can only say that this is probably his worst game this season, and I'm going to give him a 4.
Jez, Aubameyang scored the goal, had the Travis Scott hairline. After he scored the goal, he turned into Tragic Scott. Yeah, because I didn't really see him after that, if I'm honest.
No, he disappeared, man. He faded. I mean, moment of greatness. Great finish. Can't deny that.
Yeah, good goal.
You know, when the first 5 minutes, I thought, oh yeah, Aubameyang's here tonight. He looked hungry. He was going to play with passion. He was chasing, and he looked angry. And I like that in a player. When a player looks angry, you know they're going to perform. But he scored the goal, and it was back indoors for tea. You know, it's almost like, well, I scored my goal tonight. Thanks.
Yeah, I've done my job. You lot can do the rest.
That's down to you now, guys. Thanks. Bye. I've just earned another 350 grand. So next week, I think I'll get an shall I get a nice green Lamborghini? And that's the way it looks to me. So yeah, sorry, mate. You got a gold 6.
I think that's generous, but it's your player ratings. Let's move on to the sub. Sambi Lukonga, Kenny, came on at half time for not Smith Rowe, Saka, and was involved in the build up to the second goal.
You know what? We're on the attack. We're on the attack from a corner routine, and somehow they went down the end and scored. It's just not possible if people were doing their jobs. Again, he was a bag of nerves from as soon as he came on, you know. And once again, Crystal Palace, all they did was just think, right, let's go into a higher gear of performance. Basically, put this, turn the speed up, use the turbo charge in one of those fancy cars, and went boom. Let's see how you feel about that. And he didn't respond. You know, he was no help to Partey. And he, you know, in terms of like when he got the ball, it was like he got frustrated because people weren't moving for him. But you know, when you contribute like that to the goal, you know, you have to be marked down, man. And let's face it, his mark wasn't that high anyway. Yeah. Like he's getting a free, and that's just generosity anyway. But he was just a bag of nerves, and when you're a bag of nerves in that sort of position in midfield, especially engine room, you create panic. And I actually felt sorry for him because when he took Partey off to bring on Martinelli, we'll get to Martinelli later, he was basically left on his own against 3 Palace midfielders.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just basically like cruelty. That's the sort of, you know, us. It's a sort of, you know, being left. It's like leaving me in a room with a pit bull terrier and a Rottweiler.
I don't know, Kenny. You're a big guy, mate. Like,
No,
Kenny, wait. I wouldn't be worried about that at all.
I don't know, man. But let me say something now. He basically was left.
It was like a rabbit in the headlights in the last.
Let's just
10
say.
minutes.
Let's just say if I was England cricket captain, and I sent Sibley out of bat, and I broke his bat and said, right, back with that. That's exactly what Mick Arteta did to him with the Martinelli substitution.
Yeah, 100%. We'll come back to Martinelli in a second. Let's go. Alex Lacazette, Jez. He came on. He got fired up soon as he came on, and he actually looked up for it. I don't know what happened because normally he comes on with a yeah, and it's like 0 out of 10 coming. He was getting the fans up in the North Bank. He was on it. He was kicking every ball. He was like, yes. And like, I get why he celebrated how he did because it was his first goal of the season. But at the same time, it's like, mate, 95th minute equaliser against Palace and you're celebrating like that. But I get it. And even in his interview, he said, look, it was my first goal of the season, blah, blah, blah. It's not good enough. We need to find something and understand what happened and blah, blah, blah. I quoted it. I tagged him. I said, yo, just down tools, get him sacked. Stop lying. Yeah, stop lying. Yeah, just down tools, man. Yeah, because they were trying to... And Jeff Shreves is a clever guy, yeah? And he knows what he's doing. And I do like the way he spoke to Edu in that interview. But the interview that I see with Lacazette, I ain't seen anything else. He was kind of putting the answers in his mouth. Yeah. Oh, did the manager tell you to do this? Did the manager this? And it's like, come on, man. But he got the equaliser. You could see the passion when he came on. Other than Ramsdale, I thought he was our best player. And that kind of sums it all up. What did you think?
Well, I think the current situation with Lacazette, with all the speculation of him going and we're going to swap him with this guy from, is it Real Madrid? I think Lacazette tonight wanted to prove a point. And, you know, we all know that he can come on the pitch. When he starts, you know if it's going to be a good or bad day. He came on with a spirit. He came on with a fight, which we don't actually see much of at Arsenal right now. And I think that was a personal thing to say, fuck you, Arteta. You know, and fair play to the guy. Good goal. Yeah, he celebrated like we've just won the Champions League, but, you know, all players do. So, you know, we can't knock anybody for that. Christ, if that had been you, Lee, or Kenny, or me, we'd have
in
done
front of the North Bank. Yeah, I'd probably celebrate.
We'd have, you know, be
first
sliding.
goal of the season, left on the bench all season.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, you know, to me, to be honest with you, in recent performances, I'd have him starting ahead of Aubameyang. So I'm not going to knock the fella for that. And it was nice for the time he came on to see somebody to actually give it one. You know, he was bigging up the fans. Come on, boys. You know, come on. And so I'm actually going to give him a 7.
I can't disagree with that. Like, I don't particularly rate Lacazette highly. I think he's good, but I think he's good in the right system and a right manager and a right formation. Under Unai Emery, we see the best of him. He was player of the season. Yeah. And him and Aubameyang as a partnership.
Actually, there is a player in there.
There's a player in there, Jez, with most of our players. The problem is, Arteta he just sucks the life out of them.
Yeah, he's a vampire. I've said this before. I've said this last season, and I'll say it fucking again.
They're scared of him.
He's a vampire.
They're scared of him, mate. I said it in the watch along with Ola. Yeah, that it almost looks like they're scared and like the passes are just behind the player, or they're just in front of the player, or they're over hits. And it's like they're almost playing like they're on eggshells because they're scared of him giving it all of that on the touchline. It's like you've had a whole 16 days. I know international break and all that, but whatever. Anyway, we'll do this in the podcast. Kenny, Martinelli got 8.5 minutes at the end plus stoppage time.
You know what? It's one of the things, right? Is that by bringing Martinelli on, our first thing I said is, what's the point of bringing him on? When you basically decimated your midfield, and you've got Lacazette, Aubameyang, Pepe, and Martinelli, and then you've asked Martinelli to play like Jason Wilcox. What is Martinelli's strengths? Oh yeah, hitting the box and create and basically committed defenders. But you asked him to play right wing, left wing like Jason Wilcox. I mean, seriously, if you're not going to bring the guy on to affect the game in his right position, then leave him on the bench. You killed the guy today. You actually killed him. You humiliated him by only giving him, the 8 minutes plus injury time, and then you've basically said, "Oh, come out of harm's way. We've got better players than you. You just see if you can cross the ball." And by the way, and good luck because they're double upping on you. Joe Ward was getting a bit of help from Olivier, but apart from that, do your best, mate. That's what it was. There was no playing by Arteta, and this poor lad. I'm going to give him a 2 because not because out of malice, just because you really did contribute anything. I'm sorry, the contribution was just.
There was 2 shocks for me with that sub. Number one, he said in his press conference the other day that Martinelli's injured. He got a slight knock. So I was like, okay, so if he's got a slight knock, why are you playing him? Or was you lying? Right. And number 2, totally agree. If you bring the guy on, and if you look at his record, albeit against lesser opposition, which Crystal Palace is supposed to be, under Unai Emery, he scored most of his goals. And most of his goals came in and around the penalty box. West Ham, under Freddie, got us back in the game. We won the game. Nottingham Forest. Kieran Tierney was whipping balls in, bullet header. What a header. And it's like Chelsea. He run the whole length of the pitch. That was kind of a different goal. But if you look at, and that was under Arteta, I believe. But I think he's only scored about 3 or 4 goals under this manager, mate. And it's insane when you actually deep it, that this guy's been fit since January and he's barely played it.
You see, the thing about it, right? If you want to be cruel and have a go at him, you could say that he's living off the goal when 2 Chelsea players fell over. In particular, their best player fell over, and he went and basically scored a goal where no one tackled him, and he's lived off that, but he hasn't. It's just that the manager has a conundrum. He's one of those players who just can't get a game because Aubameyang's playing,
or Smith Rowe,
and now Pepe. So it's it's one of those things where a season of promise. It's just like in football. You get injured, and then you get forgotten.
Unless your name's Granit Xhaka. On that bombshell, let's do a 3-2-1.
Granit Xhaka, a lot of Wazzocks, and I use the word with vigor, Wazzocks, and they're saying that we've performed badly in midfield because Granit Xhaka's not there. Seriously, this is the much maligned Granit Xhaka is now a national hero. Well, a local hero in Islington because whenever he plays, we look so bad. And that Xhaka's in midfield. I mean, again, it's the get-along gang, stroke, level-headed morons.
Want to be journalists, mate. Want to be journalists. Don't want to agree with us 3. So we're sitting that camp deliberately and long it out because we don't want to side with the toxic, negative split in the fan base fans. So we're lie through our teeth for 10 months, 12 months, 2 years, just so we look cool. And we won't swear because that's beneath us.
Let me tell you something now. It's like the Tea Party in the United States. They're all Republicans together, all looking down at people in America, the ruling class of the Americans, who don't want anyone else to have a view except for them. That is what I call the level-headed get-along gang, the Tea Party.
Kenny. Let's do a 3-2-1. And although I ain't given any ratings, I'm going to give an Arteta rating. So we'll do 3-2-1, and all of us go with the rating, 3, 2, 1.
0.
1.
I knew Kenny would say 0. I knew it. Jez, I'm shocked you said 1.
Well, I'm giving a 1 for turning up.
Right.
It's
Seriously.
only because the coach driver fucking picked him up.
Seriously, you have to go around the grounds, right? You collectively, people are so angry that they want him gone. They're now saying it with vigor. They're not even saying what's the process. They said they'll tear out. He's on borrowed time with the fans.
Oh, 100%. Listen, if we get spanked by Aston Villa again and then we lose to Leicester,
I don't think we have to get spanked. We don't have to get spanked. We can play. We can win 1-0.
And Kenny, that's why I never celebrated the fucking equaliser, because it was like when that went in, I just went, "You lucky bastards!" And I was like, "That's another month he keeps his job."
Got past that. They were incandescent rage when we were 1-0 up. It's the tactics. They can't take it.
Mate,
anymore.
listen, you can have all the vibes in the ground and all of that. We're back at our second home load of bollocks. Oh, so glad international break's done. Blah, 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 yeah? The fact and reality is we are 12th in the table. The highest we can go after the next game is 9th, yeah? And everyone else will be playing catch-up, but they'll have a game in hand, yeah? That is a big, big difference from winning this game and beating Villa and being 4th going into them playing catch-up. We're 9th if we win that game, yeah? And we ain't beating Villa because they're better than us.
Well,
yeah?
see, that's the thing, Lee. Fans right now are saying that. They're saying everything you just said. I was getting people coming to me after the match, and you saw that in the video, basically saying you're right. People be like saying the same thing. They just had enough of teams coming to the Emirates and bossing the game. They've had enough.
It's dead ball. Listen, Kenny, Jez, appreciate it, man. Always mad love. I'll have to message you guys on the podcast because obviously Friday, and it's kind of mad because I did the show with Rance, then I did all the shows tonight. And on Friday we play again, and I'm on Rance's Twitch channel, and then we've got to do it all over again. So I'm not sure when the podcast. Maybe we could do the podcast Thursday, perhaps.
Yeah, I think
Thursday's a kind of chill day for me.
Thursday.
I'll text you in the group. Listen, big up to both of you, man. Mad love. Always appreciate you guys. Make sure you go and follow Kenny Ken 1972 on Insta and Twitter. Jez don't want to be followed. Yeah. Jez is just a real one. He says it as it is. But listen, mad love. And in Spanish, Kenny, and I know you love your Spaniel, yeah? Arteta out in Spanish is Arteta fuera.
Arteta fuera.
You know that in Spain, in Spanish, they're called Arteta.
Arteta fuera.
Arteta fuera.
Arteta. Do you know what Arteta means? It means kill.
Wanker.
It's Arteta.
Do you know what it means in Spanish? It means kill.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
The only thing is killing is our fucking football club.
You know what? The thing about it, right? It's going to get to a situation I'm going to start feeling sorry for him.
You're not, because I'm going to find you, Kenny, right? And I'm going to fucking grab hold of you with my skinny little twig arms here. No, right, I'm going. We're going. Otherwise, this is going for another 10 minutes.
You know what's happening right there is that this guy, it's painful watching it. It's painful watching him. It's painful watching.
But it's not got to Unai Emery Frankfurt stage yet, and that is the problem.
He is basically. Is it him or is it the players? Because because right now the combination ain't working. It's good. It's him.
We'll do this in deep on Thursday, Kenny.
Yeah,
we'll end.
We'll say
big up.
Thursday.
Arteta fuera. Ben White now knows who Vieira is, and Edu fuera. Yeah, up the arse.
So